when we start talking about keys to the game, my 3 keys, I think number 1, it starts right there. It is exactly what I just talked about. State has got to protect Blake Shapen in this game. And I know that's going to be tough, assuming Reese is out. And he, like I said, he is doubtful for this game. But from a offensive line standpoint, from a game planning standpoint, and also Blake Shapen himself has got to do a good job of making sure he's getting rid of the football. State has got to do things to take the pressure off the offensive line. Now, part of that is being able to run the football successfully. If you were able to run the football well, that's going to limit the ability for pass rushers to really pin their ears back and really get after the quarterback. You can also hurt them with a play action standpoint and how you force them to have to try to fit the run rather than just going after the quarterback. You can do stuff off a bootleg standpoint, moving the pocket, getting Blake Shapen out of the pocket. And where I actually think he can do a pretty good job making throws on the run if you have those opportunities for him downfield. But it's all, quick game stuff, getting the ball out quickly. And instead of less concepts that are designed to hit down the field, stuff for the ball is getting out, attacking space. I think that is a huge thing State has got to do this week. You've got to keep Blake Shapen upright as much as possible, and that's going to be a big part of the game plan for them is protecting Shapen. If you let A&M's strength on defense, which is getting after the quarterback, be a key in the way that it was a key against Tennessee, you're not going to be able to win.
No, I fully agree. Got to keep Shapen healthy, got to keep him on the field because once he's able to have that max protection or whatever, however you want to put it, just the protection in general, like a little does go a long way. And we've seen that so far this season with Mississippi State. Is it going to be a perfect game from the offensive line? Probably not, especially as they go throughout the season. They're going to face those defenses, as I mentioned. But you want him healthy. You want him to stay as calm in the pocket as possible, right? You want him to have those great, in-game opportunities to make big explosive plays downfield with your offense, and it does start up front with the offensive line. I kind of want to say a key to the game for me is the pass rush on Marcel Reed, the quarterback for Texas A&M. So it's actually very interesting his season. He didn't take any sacks in the opener. He didn't take any in the win against Notre Dame. Both offenses in that one looked stout. It was a 16-10 victory, and I'm not taking anything away against Auburn for Texas A&M. He took 4 sacks in the game. Auburn was able to get after the quarterback, and they almost won the game. Mississippi State, whether they bring him down or not, you got to disrupt the pass and you got to flush the quarterback out of the pocket as much as possible.
I tend to agree with that, and that does lead into my second key, which is if you're Mississippi State, and this kind of just from a defensive standpoint, it's really 2 things in one. One is limiting the big play. 2 is forcing third downs.
Yeah.
A big weakness for Texas A&M offensively this season has been their third down conversion rate. They are only converting 30.6% of third downs on the season. Now, they have, I think, faced which I think is the worst in the SEC. It's either the worst or the second worst. Now, they have only seen 49 third downs on the year, which is the second fewest in the conference. Although, to be fair, they have played one less game than a lot of teams. I haven't looked at what the average number of third downs per game is for conference teams at this point, so I don't know. Vanderbilt's seen the fewest third downs of any team. But, A&M has not seen a ton of third downs, overall in the season. But they've not been good at converting them when they've seen them. If you force them into third down situations, they are not comfortable executing in those spots. They're a team that has to kind of stay ahead of the chains. They're a team that needs to hit big plays. And they have the ability to hit big plays in the passing game. They also have the ability with Le'Veon Moss to hit big plays on the ground. But if you're State, you cannot let those big plays get you. And, I look back, again, I go back to the Tennessee game, and in no way, shape, or form am I suggesting what State did defensively didn't work, because State ultimately did enough on defense Excuse me. State ultimately did enough on defense to be able to win that game. But Tennessee being able to hit the number of big plays they did really came back to is really what kept Tennessee in that game. And that's what kept the Tennessee offense alive, was that they were able to continually hit big plays down the field. And that's what let them move the ball, and that's what gave them enough chances. I think if you're letting A&M hit big plays, especially playing at home, that's just going to work further against you. You have to limit the big plays. You cannot let Mario Craver and Kevin Concepcion, go beat you downfield and just be running free. You can't let Le'Veon Moss turn a short gain and do a big run because of a couple broken tackles. State has got to do a good job of limiting the big plays, get them into third downs, and if you do that, I think your defense will have a chance.
Yeah. This is a Mississippi State defense that we've talked about quite a bit, in different ways. But I feel like what we've seen so far is, and this was part of it last week with Tennessee, was the big plays. You can't have too many of them. Heck, it'd be great if you could not give up any. Are you going to give up some points in this game? Sure. It happens. It's the SEC. It's what, you know, teams want to go out and compete. They want to score. But I feel like with the big plays, it's limiting that against Texas A&M this week for State's defense.
Final key for me, Mississippi State's got to play a clean game here. And that means protect the football and do not commit penalties. And the reason is because Texas A&M is a team that will commit penalties, and they're not turnover prone. I won't sit here and say the Aggies are a turnover prone team, but they're not a team that forces a ton of turnovers. They don't naturally give themselves – they do have a negative turnover margin on the season, but it's more a product of the fact that they don't force a lot of turnovers. So what I'm getting at here, Mississippi State is the second most – well, in terms of penalty yardage, Mississippi State is the worst in the SEC at 85.4 yards per game, with Texas A&M at 14th at 77.3. Now, in terms of number of penalties committed per game, the Aggies are 9.5 to 9.4 an advantage over Mississippi State. So in terms of number of penalties, the Aggies are the most penalized team in the SEC per game. Mississippi State right behind them. State cannot commit those mistakes. State also can't commit the turnovers. That was another thing. Against Tennessee, State finished with a +1 turnover margin, which was cool and all. And you ended up with 21 points off of turnovers. You also had 2 turnovers that directly led to 14 points for the Vols. And while that stuff does balance out to an extent, I kind of talked about this earlier when I talked about why I can't say Mississippi State should have won the football game. When you are the team that is not as good, when you're the lesser team, and Mississippi State is the lesser team, they were against Tennessee, they're going to be the lesser team against Texas A&M. You don't get to make those mistakes and get away with it. Your opponent may be able to make some mistakes and get away with it. You can't. You have got to take full advantage of their mistakes, and you cannot make mistakes on your own. So from a penalty standpoint, you have to play clean. State cannot commit penalties like they've committed them to this point of the season. Penalties were another big problem against Tennessee. And you can't turn the football over. Again, A&M has not been a team that has forced a lot of turnovers. Don't give them extra opportunities. Do not give them extra opportunities from a penalty standpoint. So if State plays clean, they can go on the road and have an opportunity. If this goes out and it's a penalty fest again and State commits turnovers like they did against the Vols, they're not going to be able to be successful.
Yeah, and I don't know what the penalty rate or anything is for Texas A&M. I would say it goes for them too. I think that goes for any football game, any football team. But yeah, I think Mississippi State, especially you know, I don't know which one I would say would hurt them worse in this game. I feel like if they get the offensive false start penalties or whatever, and they have to back them up 5, 10 yards, whatever, they might be able to make something work after that. I would say I'm more worried about the defensive holding, the pass interference, anything crazy on defense. Try to especially limit that since you can't 100% control how Texas A&M is going to respond to that offensively.
I don't think they can afford either. Because I think if
Yeah,
State get offensively, yeah, you get a false start where it's like, oh, it's just 5 yards. State has not been good in long yardage. When they get in situations where they get behind the
true.
chains, they've not done a good job of responding to that. Defensively, you're right. No, like those types of mistakes, you're just giving the offense more chances.
Mhm.
You're just giving the offense more opportunities to come and hurt you. And for State defense, for as improved as they are, they're not to the point where they're going to be able to play lockdown for an entire game. If the other team gets more and more opportunities, they're going to be able to take advantage. So State's got to play a clean game between penalties and protecting the football. If they do that while also protecting Blake Shapen and not allowing a bunch of negative plays offensively, not giving up the explosive plays on defense, getting to downs on defense, they're going to have a chance. And it still may not be enough. Again, A&M is a very good football team, but all you can ask for is for Mississippi State to have a chance, and those are their keys in this game.